Hey, Ryan. This is Russell Roberts from the Long Haul Life Podcast. Congratulations, brother, on 5 years of creating content for the law-abiding biker community. Man, I know it's been a lot of hard work, but know that many of us are thankful you've done this. I mean, it has saved us a ton of money. The videos that you've created, that you produce, and still continue to do so, they save us so much money because they're step-by-step instructions without missing any steps, like LD is always saying, you know? And like Lurch says, save a metric shit ton of money doing this yourself instead of taking it to the dealer or stealership, as they are known to be. But I mean, I've saved so much money. I've been a patron for a few years, and I've still not paid you back all the money you've saved me. So I just want to say thanks, dude. It's been a lot of work on your part to do this. I understand that. I get it. And that's why I'm a patron, because there is so much in the background that has to be done, and it takes money to do it. So I encourage anybody else to be a patron. You can be in the Facebook group where we get together. Everybody is in there that has questions. It's a really cool group. There's no bashing. It's not like, everybody's encouraging everybody. And we have questions and they get answered pretty quick. And I'm just amazed at all the knowledge that's in there. So if you can, I know how the budgets can be, guys, but if you can, become a patron, help out, keep this thing going and keep the content coming out, because there is so much more that we still have yet to see from Ryan and the guys in the lab. There's so much more to come to us. So keep it going. And I know, Ryan, you're humbled by all this and amazed by the outpouring of support that everyone has already given. But just know, dude, that, it's a two-way street. You've given us so much, so don't worry. But I just want to say thanks, man, for all you've done, and congratulations on 5 years. It's hard to believe, but 5 years, dude. Keep it going. Take care of yourself. Bye.
Awesome. Means a lot, patron Russell Roberts. Could not do a better promo to become a patron than that. If you're a patron out there, we would really appreciate you making an audio file. If you don't know how to do that, you can do it easily by going to lawabidingbiker.com/voicemail and leave us a voicemail on what you appreciate that Law Abiding Biker Media does for you, why maybe you became a patron, and why you think other people should sign up. We love hearing that feedback. So thank you, Russell Roberts. Don't forget to check out The Long Haul Life. He has a podcast, very cool podcast, and worth a listen. And now, straight from the Law Abiding Biker Media studio,
out of sunny Yakima, Washington,
we bring you another episode of the
#1 listen to motorcycle podcast.
We're in your head.
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 Shall we do this?
Hell yeah. I like the old school opener. We haven't done that in a while. I've been using this newer stuff from Pablo Calcerada.
I know, dude.
But yeah, I love that old one.
This is from Pablo right here, brother.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right, yeah. Exactly. Welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the big MM. That's right, also known as the
99%.
That's right, large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history. By listening to this very podcast, you are part of what we call
the Biker Revolution.
Own it. Own it. Be proud of it. That's right. Now, we do want to get going here, but we do have just one question for you, bikeaholics, before we get started. What are you waiting for?
Mount up and let us take you on another wild-ass ride.
That is right. Thanks for being here, guys. That's right. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker Podcast, and your
high-tech redneck.
That is right. And there you go. You already heard his voice there, just busting in right away. Here we go. Nicely done. There you go. All right, guys, welcome back. We're really glad to have you here right up front. I just want to tell you what this episode's about. I think it's going to be very informational for you. We learned a lot.
It's going to be entertaining.
It's going to be entertaining.
And put those together. What do you got?
Infotaining.
That's right.
Going old school, baby. That's what we do around here. We're going old school because Russell Roberts brought it to our attention. Of course, we've been doing this for 5 long years.
Wow.
Blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of work.
Uh-huh.
In fact, about 2 weeks ago, we were in the new law-abiding biker film studio, and we filmed a project for you guys, and that is what we want to talk to you guys about. And basically, what we did is we installed a Rockford Fosgate stereo system. And I know a lot of you have asked us about the Rockford Fosgate system because we've done a lot of systems in the past, but we hadn't got around to that one yet. So we are going to break it down. Again, this was a couple weeks ago, and by the time that we got around to actually sitting down and talking about this, what was a little bit of a delay. But nonetheless, we took copious notes at the time of install, and so we want to share with you what we learned. We will talk about how we came about this Rockford Fosgate system and the meeting of a patron that reached out to us. We're not going to give that away yet.
Very cool.
Very cool guy reached out to us from the west side of Washington State, so a couple hours away from where we are. But he is a patron. He did contact us, and we hooked up this install. So it's a complete overhaul, or not overhaul, but overview of the Rockford Fosgate front, speaker, and amp system. You have anything to add to that?
Well, we'll get into it, but one of the cool things about this system is you'd only need 1 amp to run the front and rear speakers. So later on down the road, if the patron, and I'll let you introduce his name here in a little bit.
Well, you can too. We're just not to it yet, but yes, we will. We're going to get in this deep.
All I'll say is that it's kind of cool. You just need the 1 amp so you can run the speakers off in the rear with just 1 amp. So kind of a neat thing.
It is a neat thing. It is really a neat thing. It has some other benefits. Mm-hmm. We'll give you the pros and cons because we've done a J&M install, which all these are videos that will be that are for purchase currently. Our J&M install, which I'm running on my bike, the Boom Audio
Stage 2 on my bike,
2 on your bike, which we have an install. lawabidingbiker.com/buy videos is where you find all those, and then we did a Cycle Sounds install on Big Daddy's bike.
One of his mini bikes. He no longer has it, but
correct. Yeah, you're right. He had sold that one. That wasn't the one that burned in the fire. He had the J&M on the one that burned in the fire. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
which he used our video to put his system in.
Did he? Nice,
yeah,
dude.
He did.
Of course he did. That's freaking sweet. Yeah. If you guys don't believe us, we're being serious. We actually use our videos because it just refreshes your memory. At the time, you know what I mean? We do it 2 years later again, and it just makes it quicker. We don't have to figure anything out. And so we go use our own videos. Hey, come on in. We're just recording a podcast. Come on in. We're not live.
Oh, now she's getting shy all of a sudden.
She's getting shy. We're not live. We're actually just recording. So my wife's walking in the studio now, and she has a question for me, and I will tell you what the question is.
Is that stringy cheese or is that jicama?
Can you, hey, you're letting bugs in.
It's some stringy cheese.
You want to say hi to the audience? Just say hi, law-abiding bikers.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, nice. Nicely done. Hey, what is the question? All right, we'll be having dinner. So the question was that my wife had for me was what we're eating for dinner after this. And we've decided on steaks, and Lurch is here because he's a lot better at cooking steaks than me to make sure. I don't have a thermometer yet, dude.
Oh, that was going to be my question.
I got to buy a thermometer. You've been so busy. I'm going to order it tonight. Actually, while you're cooking the steaks, I'm going to order it on Amazon.
Top tip for everybody out there. If you want to make perfect steaks, invest yourself in a meat thermometer, an instant read thermometer. There is one called the CDN, so the initial CDN, and they're like $20. Instant read, you put it in there. Now, it depends on how you like your steaks. I like mine a little bit bloody, so I pull them off at 135 degrees.
And it tells you
then I let it sit for about 10 minutes. That takes me up to about 140, and it's perfect medium rare. But you can go all the way up to 160 if you want it well done. I mean,
Lurch
however
likes
you like
his steak so rare that the other day we were driving along, he jumped out of the car and just went up and bit a live cow, and took a chunk out of its neck, dude.
I have been known at a restaurant to say, knock off its horns, wipe its dirty ass, and bring it on out.
Mm-hmm. You do like him that way. I know there's audience members that out there. And Lurch has one thing that he would like to relate to everybody along with the thermometer, which is good because you are good at cooking steaks. I'm giving you credit, dude.
Season them right.
Right, with A1.
No,
and so
bullshit.
he loves
Bullshit.
A1. I just totally roped you into that, dude.
You did.
I just roped you in, dude. He loves it when you smother your steak in A1. We've had these conversations. People make it in the private Facebook group.
I see it all the time. Somebody sent a whole big old display of A1, like this big old end cap display. Look at this, Lurch. Here's the thing. Season it right.
Yeah.
Cook it right. And it's got great flavor all by itself. You don't need to put a bunch of crap on it to make it taste good. If you're eating steak sauce.
I agree. A good steak. Yeah.
Because if you're eating steak sauce on it, you're just eating, that's all you're tasting, the steak sauce. You're not tasting the steak.
Yeah.
I'm a carnivore. I appreciate a good steak.
The taste of the meat.
Yeah. And if you cook it medium rare, then you get the flavor of the meat.
It's true.
And if you just season it right and have a good steak, there's no point in putting A1 on it.
I agree. No, I bust your balls, but sometimes I put A1 on people's home steaks and stuff. I know. But
whatever.
It just depends how they cook. No, it depends how they cook them, dude. I agree. A lot of steaks I don't.
If they're overcooked and under
on our Midwest trip, we went to 2 different places. One in Cheyenne, Wyoming. We went a couple weeks ago. Got back from that 200 mile trip. But we went to the Big Texan in Amarillo, Texas, which is unbelievable steaks. And we went to another place. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it was in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Dude, hell no, I ain't putting any sauce on this because they knew exactly how to cook a steak.
And another top tip out there too is at the end you can put a little tab of butter on top of it and melt that butter into the steak and get the fat back into it. Yeah,
that's good for your heart.
Oh,
that'll keep your heart ticking.
It's not bad for your heart. I wouldn't do it every day. Butter's not bad.
Yes, it is, dude.
Not like real butter, real grass fed good butter, some good fat. It's not that bad. It's the canola oil, the spreads, the margarine crap.
Well, you go ahead.
Good old healthy butter is not bad for you.
If you're a heart doctor out there, Lurch knows exactly what he's talking about.
Trust me. Just stay away from the canola oil and all that crap.
No canola oil, but get that damn thermometer. And if I were you guys and you do get it, again, anything you buy on Amazon, we appreciate your support. Lawabidingbiker.com/Amazon will take you through to our affiliate link. No matter what you purchase on Amazon, behind the scenes, we'll be getting a small kickback, and it doesn't cost you anything additional.
I've got it bookmarked. So I went through the lab. And went to Amazon and I bookmarked it. So now every time
you went to lawabidingbiker.com/Amazon and then you bookmarked
that. I bookmarked that.
Which is our affiliate code behind the scenes.
And when I click on my bookmark for Amazon, you can see in the code up there, it says Law Abiding Biker. So everything I buy on Amazon, because you own the company and my company works with your company.
Right.
So I'm able to do that.
Nice.
If whereas you can't do it, right? You can't go through.
I can't because I'm the affiliate. You could get your hold, which I wouldn't do, But
because we're separate companies, technically, getting kind of nerdy there, but my company works with your
They have no idea who you are.
Right.
It's
so
my affiliate.
I send everything through yours.
You're awesome. Do that, guys, if you can. It's an easy thing to do, and it takes no work or effort. All right. Oh, yeah, once you've had Rick Rack, you'll never go back. The ultimate motorcycle luggage rack solution. Forget those messy straps and bungee cords. Go strapless with a Rick Rack quick attach luggage system and quality bag. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store and get hooked up now. Hey, Bikeaholics, 03D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Affordable chrome lighting and comfort products. These guys ride, support riders just like you. Head over lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our full line of 03D products. We appreciate our sponsors. They're going strong. Those guys have renewed multiple times. So thank you to Rick Rack and 03D. Yeah. All right. One little thing here. Make sure that you guys I've said it before, make sure that you put your YouTube channel info in your patron account if you are a patron, because they've done some updates. And we are able, if you comment on our YouTube videos, your comments will be highlighted, and then we know instantly that you're a patron. Patron did that in an interface with YouTube, so they're using.
Very cool.
Yeah. So remember, guys, if you sign up for your patron account, make sure you go back and enter your YouTube. Everybody has a YouTube channel. If you have a Google account, whether you like it or not, you just may not upload videos, but put your YouTube channel info in there, and we would really appreciate it. All right. You know what? We appreciate all our sponsors, but we've already talked about it. Russell Roberts did up front, and we appreciate our patrons. And it wasn't but a couple weeks ago, Lurch, when I went on a cross-country trip to I forget how many states. We're going to do episodes on it, but it was like 13 states. But we met our beloved patrons, like 18 of them in the Papillion, Nebraska area. And we're appreciative so much. And I love those patrons because, I love the online community, but I also like, thanking. It's so nice to thank those people in person. So I want to go ahead and take the time and make sure that we thank these patrons.
We've got Chuck Walls of Fort Calhoun, Nebraska.
Hey, look at that, Nebraska.
Rich Blake of Anderson, Indiana. He is a top tier patron. Daryl Skaggs of Clewiston, Florida, also top tier. We have Cynthia Kidd of Arlington, Texas. Sarah Rios of Sackle, Texas. And Doug Kozlik of Long Beach, New York.
Philip Melee or Mel, I'm not sure, of Gillett, Arizona. Lee Jagger of Council Bluffs, Iowa. Richard Mullins of Bakersfield, California. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. That's right. Pledge a certain amount per piece of content. No risk to you because you can put a monthly cap on it. There are benefits, t-shirt, stickers. You can get in our private Facebook group, which is the best part, and up to top tier gets access to our premium videos. All the information is over there at the link I just gave you. And again, part of those benefits are, like I say, several weeks ago, we went on that cross-country trip and had a patron ride and meetup. And all mid-level patrons or above had access to come to that meetup, and they took and partook in that. So many of them over there in and around the Nebraska area.
Right on, man. I love our patrons.
Absolutely. They rock, and they're the reason that Law Abiding Biker, like Russell Roberts said, has been going strong for 5 years. He was one of them over there. There were so many great people over there, a ton of names that we got to meet. So let's get right into our main topic. What do you say? And let's do it. So like we say a couple weeks ago, we were in the garage in the Law Abiding Biker studio. I want to do a huge shout out to patron member Greg Jordan. Now, Greg is a patron member, top tier. He's here in Washington State. He's on the west side of the state, probably a little over 2 hours away from us. And he reached out to me and said, hey, you know, like I said, we've done a J&M install. We've done the Boom Audio Stage 2. We've done a Cycle Sounds. We've done a Hog Tunes, which we didn't mention up front.
That's right.
Forgot about the Hog Tunes. All those videos are for purchase. They're some of our very most popular videos because we can make it so easy for you. Shops make a lot of money off those installs when they're actually not that difficult.
Yeah, they're charging you at least $400, at least.
Right.
And that's what Greg said. If he would have...
did he?
Yeah.
You had some conversations
had some
that I
side
didn't
conversation
have.
that you didn't hear about, but for the price that he paid for it was about $400 less minus the install. If that makes sense. So
yeah.
the system was $800. If he would have had it...
$50 or something.
Yeah,
said, yeah.
It was like $1,200 installed.
Okay. See, there you go, guys.
So that's around $350, $400.
Going back to what Russell Roberts said. Yep, exactly. You can save a ton of money. Now, I do want to say that we actually wanted Greg in the studio here on a mic, and it's unfortunate. Like I say, this is 2 weeks after the fact of the install. We couldn't do it that day. Things got kicked off a little late. Film projects always take a little bit longer. Lurch had to bug out that day. He had to get over to Olympia for some business, and it just didn't work out. And we apologize for that, and I apologize to Greg. And he's such a nice guy, such a genuine guy that he totally understood. He said, I'm not even offended at all. We were going to have it on a mic, but nonetheless, we got to get the content out. So me and Lurch are like, we got to just sit down, and hopefully in the future, we'll see, maybe we can get Greg in the studio. But so me and Lurch are going to talk about it for the most part. And that's why Greg's not here to talk about it, but he was present, loved behind the scenes. We got to know him and his lovely wife and their two dogs because they ride with dogs, two little
Stubby was
his name.
They're Chihuahua mixes.
Yeah.
And
he rides in a bag.
Yeah. 10-year-old dog that rode with Greg.
Yes.
He was sitting in his little dog carrier on the back of the bike, and you'll see him in the video. I forgot the dog was there.
I know.
He was so chill.
He was chill.
And I think her dog's name was Scooter.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Yes.
A little bit bigger Chihuahua. It had I can't remember what kind of mix it was, but both really cool dogs, and they ride with both of them.
Yep, they did. And he hung out during that video. It was kind of funny. And he's probably in a couple angles, and shots. And like I say, super genuine people. He could have installed this himself. He's a super smart guy, Greg Jordan. It wasn't a matter of whether he could install it. It was a matter that he wanted to contribute to us and contribute to the community. And he purchased the system and said, I would be willing to bring it over and ride over and have you guys install it and film it. So that it is going to be a for purchase video, but still for the price of that video compared to what it would cost you to install.
You're going to save yourself
peanuts.
$350.
Yep. And we, of course, we're going to give Greg some things. He wanted a couple biker grippers. We sent him off with a thing of Bug Slide. We're going to try to take care of Greg the best we can, try to take care of the community, because that's what we've evolved here. At Law Abiding Biker Media is we have this guy who's, willing to do what he did to, because he knows we probably want to hear and install yet another audio system, because we do get emails on the Rockford Fosgate and we don't really know how to answer it until 2 weeks ago when we made that install.
And I've had Rockford Fosgate stuff in my automobiles, cars. They make very good, high quality stuff, and we'll get into it, but they made a really neat kit here that ends up being plug and play.
They did. And we'll give you our honest opinion, of what I would do, and if I bought a new bike, what I would get, and some of the drawbacks, because it's not perfect. There is one issue that I have with it. We'll talk about that. But nonetheless, I wanted to get that up front. Is thank you to Greg and his wife, and it was so lovely meeting both of you.
Their anniversary, by the way.
Oh, their anniversary day. Came over on his anniversary. We sent him off to wine country.
Yeah, we're like, get out of here. Go take her out to dinner.
Yeah, we're said on top of it, it's late, and Lurch has got to go that night. And we said, take your wife down to one of the wineries here in the lovely Yakima Valley area. Ton of wineries, ton of vineyards, and take her out to dinner. So it actually worked out probably for him too. And
keep him out of the doghouse.
He was happy with this system, let me tell you. He was smiles ear to ear.
Very clean sounding.
Very clean sounding. And so we'll tell you about all that. But so let's start out, Lurch, with the Rockford. And again, anything we're talking about, guys, on this is the Rockford Fosgate. Now, our install video won't be out by the time this I don't even know if it'll be out, because we still have some stuff to wrap up. We've got to get a Street Glide in the Law Abiding Biker studio, because it's going to be for... Go ahead.
It'll be for the 14 and up Road Glide and Street Glide, but we did the install on a Road Glide. The only real difference is the way that the what they call the heat sink mounts. It's actually harder to do on the Road Glide.
Which the heat sink is basically an amp plate.
Yeah, sure.
Why do they call it that? A heat sink? I couldn't figure that out.
It's a technical term for amplifiers. Oh, I've seen it.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
It's called a heat sink because of the fins that are on the side of it. So the amp's going to get hot, and that heat's going to leak into that mount or heat sink, and then it'll get into those fins.
Interesting, because J&M doesn't use that.
They've got it mount. Well,
they space it and mount it above, but there's no heat. Boom Audio doesn't have a heat sink plate.
A lot of
so it's very interesting.
Well, a lot of amplifiers have those fins on the side of the amp.
Oh yeah,
right.
Correct. Mm-hmm. See, that's what I love that having you in here, because you do know a lot about stereo stuff, especially from your younger days. So yeah, there you go. Interesting.
That amplifier didn't have any fins on it itself.
You're right.
Yeah, so that's a way to distribute the heat and get rid of the heat.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's a nerdy term to talk about, a way to
nerd
get the heat into something and get rid of it. So that's why they call it a heat sink. It absorbs the heat and then helps dissipate it.
Okay, very nice.
So the big difference is the way it mounts up. On the Road Glide, it goes underneath the boom box, behind the headlights. And so it's
same as it goes the same place as the J&M one.
Yeah,
it goes the same. There's only one spot to put it in there, right? They're all the same.
You can't put it on top of the boom in the Road Glide. It's got to go underneath. And so there's an extra adapter you have to mount to that heat sink to get it up into place. Now on the Street Glide, it sits on top of the boom box, and there's 4 little spacers that go between the heat sink and the stock bracket that's in there, and it mounts on top. It's actually much easier to mount in a Street Glide than it is.
Same with the J&M, same with the Boom Audio.
You're just because you're going right on top. So we're gonna pull in a stock Street Glide here in the next, hopefully.
Robbie's probably Law Dog's bike, because he's got a brand new 18 Milwaukee 8 Street Glide. Yeah.
So we'll pop that, and then we'll show you how to work.
We'll get the shots we need, because we want it to be universal for both. And we pulled my bike, which was interesting. But we were going to use my bike today, and it's funny at the very end of the day. Not today, sorry. I'm so delirious, dude. A couple of weeks ago when we did this project, we did a different project today. But 2 weeks ago we pulled that, and it was kind of a mess in there because I already have a J&M system.
You got 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound sack.
Correct. And we were like, let's just get a clean bike. Robbie's is brand new, and we'll just get that bike in here and film the additional shots that we need, so it makes sense.
The J&M, you had to take out the stock bracket and put it in their custom bracket. And with the Rockford Fosgate, you just take their heat sink and you mount it right on top. It's actually an easier install with the Rockford Fosgate. But we looked at the inside of your bike, and you had that J&M system in there. Plus, you got all kinds of lights and crap in there.
Right.
So most people are going to be starting with a cleaner bike that doesn't have all that extra stuff in there. So we're going to take Robbie's bike and film that up. And that way, when you buy the video, you can believe that it will work for either a Road Glide or Street Glide.
Yep. Absolutely. Good info. And if you guys are wondering what we did in the shop today, well, too bad. We're not going to tell you. We actually did another project today, but it's a teaser. We will be doing a video and what we did today. We will eventually talk about on a podcast.
Yeah.
We will tell you what we did today, but there you go.
Don't leak it out yet, man.
It's exciting. Should I give him a hint?
You got to drip this content out.
Should I give him a hint?
Sure.
No, I'm not giving him a hint.
All right.
Too bad.
Okay.
Because we're always doing stuff on the days we podcast. We fit a few different things in today.
It's a common problem. Here's all I'll tell them. It's a common issue.
Oh, nice.
It's a common issue that happens on bikes when you start putting a little miles on them. And it's a failure point that Harley has, and we want to tell you what it is and how to take care of it.
It may or may not have happened. It may or may not have happened to my bike. I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on.
There you go, teaser. I just had to tease him on what we did in the shop actually today. Before this, we will talk about it at some point. So, all right. So this is the Power Harley-Davidson from Rockford Fosgate. Rockford Fosgate is known mostly for their car systems. Now, we haven't heard a lot about the Rockford Fosgate system. I'll be quite honest with you. It didn't really come up with, with us when we were doing our 4 audio bang off. I know there's people that use them, but there's bigger names in the motorcycle scene. Rockford Fosgate's got it nailed down with cars and boats, but I'm not saying they're new, but I'm not saying they're not good. I just say, don't you agree, Matt? It wasn't something that a ton of people were interested in. They might be after this podcast and our video.
I got to be honest with you. I did some research, and there were some different manufacturers that had stuff that they had adapted for the Harley. I don't recall Rockford Fosgate even being available at the time in this kit.
Yeah, maybe not, bro.
I don't know that it was.
Maybe
because
not.
Now they've adapted it with all the brackets and plug and play. And
so talk about that a little bit. So the difference between Rockford Fosgate is, I'm going to let Lurch explain it, but J&M is very, here's the deal. Let me say this, because I think it's a good time to bring it up, and then we'll go into this kit. So here's the deal, guys. I've heard pros and cons for all these audio systems. And again, we have videos on all this, guys, and information on our website, but you can search for them in the search bar and figure out J&M and Boom Audio Stage 2 and Cycle Sounds and Hog Tunes and all that. But here's what I find, and I'm not in agreement with this. I'm just telling you that J&M is very much, they tout their motorcycle specific systems. Okay. And what you'll hear from places like J&M, you make up your own decision. I'm not giving my opinion. I'm giving specific information here. J&M is very specific about, hey, you can go get Rockford Fosgate, but they're just a generic company. They're generic. They make it they're actually a car audio system and they're a boat audio system, but they haven't done the research that we've done. Speaking for J&M, right?
Right.
They haven't done the research we've done. How does that system sound specifically on a motorcycle? Because we've talked about in the past, if you take a car system and put it on a motorcycle, it can suck. The reason is the tones are different because you're running down the freeway at 70 miles an hour. A car system may not be conducive to your ears to hear the levels that you need. So J&M company, and different companies tout that we are motorcycle related products and we test motorcycles and we test to make sure we don't just make a car speaker and adapt it to a motorcycle. We actually make motorcycle specific speakers. Does that make sense? Now, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with that. Again, I'm just saying that's why maybe Rockford Fosgate doesn't get some of the love that it gets, because a lot of people have that opinion, and I'm not saying it's true. A lot of people have that opinion is, they're a car speaker, and they're trying, because we're going to get into this kit. Why don't you go into why some people believe that, what this kit comes with and what it's about and what it's used for actually, right? It can,
and there are other brands out there that are, they're in multiple disciplines. So they're in boats, they're in cars, they're in bikes. Kicker's another one. Kicker's a brand that does something similar to this.
MTX, do they?
They're
mostly,
Well, MTX actually makes Harley speakers.
That's right. You said that.
So, yeah,
nice.
so,
they make the Boom Audio speakers.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there are other systems that have been adapted to fit in the Harleys. So yeah, maybe J&M and Hog Tunes. Those are designed specifically for the motorcycles. I got to tell you, though, after we got this installed and we listened to it, this sounded really good. So it really gets down to what you like, right? So, but they really did adapt this system to be plug and play with the Harley.
Right,
And
they did.
We've done some other ones.
They did. So that's good.
Like the Cycle Sounds was, we had to do a lot of cutting and splicing, whereas this is all just use stock Harley plug-in kind of deal.
Yeah, good point. The Cycle Sounds was, we talked about this. We already have a podcast on those 4 systems and the pros and cons, so we're not going to get deep into that. It was the only one out of these that was not completely plug and play. So I get what you're saying, but this kit, at the end of the day, is for, right? It has multiple applications. It has
that's
a ton of plugs you won't use. Yeah, that's where I wanted you to go with that. Yeah,
let me go with that. So it comes with, there's 3 different parts to it. One is a speaker set, another is the amplifier, and then there's the amp install kit. So the amp is, it's not specific to motorcycles, but the amp install kit is. So when you buy the amp installation kit, it comes with everything you need to hook it up to the Road Glide and the Street Glide in different years, 14 and up and 13 and back.
And with that said, it comes with different grills. It has the grills.
Well, I'll get there.
Okay.
I'm talking about the amp.
Gotcha. I'm ahead.
Yeah,
I'm
that was the
ahead.
amp install. And then the speaker kit also comes with 3 sets of grills. So it's got grills for the Street Glide, the Road Glide, and then the tour packs.
Nice.
Yeah. And so they've made it so it takes care of all bikes.
Yes. But it has marine applications in there too, right? Did you say that? Sorry.
Well, yeah, they're marine grade speakers. They can be wet.
Right, but didn't it have plugs? I thought I heard you two talking about, that's using a boat and stuff.
I'm sorry. That was in the amp installation kit. Yeah, it came with more of an automotive type installation as well.
Yeah. So it's they sell it. You'll actually not use a lot of the parts, right?
Yeah. It's smart on their part because they're making one kit that has multiple applications. And they're just giving you everything.
They're just giving you a huge generic kit that can work. And I don't say that to put it down. Generic. I'm just using that term that it's generic because it can be used for a lot of different things. Whereas the Boom Audio and the J&M come very specific. It has one use and it's for a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, and that's it.
And it's either for the Road Glide, the Batwing, the Shark Nose, or the Batwing fairing, and you have to let them know ahead of time which one you're getting. So kind of cool. I mean, you're going to have some extra parts left over on this stuff, but it's smart from a manufacturing standpoint. The cost for them is nominal just to give you everything you need. So Greg actually went home with a bunch of extra parts that he could use maybe somewhere down the road on another bike if he wanted to. One thing I want to say about the wiring is, man, it was top-notch wiring. Everything was very...
Thank you.
It was heavy duty. It was very flexible.
Remind me of very much car.
Yeah, really
which
high quality.
Makes sense.
The positive wire had like a 60 amp fuse on it. Big, heavy.
It was huge compared to
heavy one.
The other ones, huh?
So definitely over engineered. So you're not going to be burning up in the wiring and everything. It's serious. And the speakers were 4 ohm speakers instead of 2 ohm speakers.
Yeah,
so
talk about that. Yeah,
a little more resistance, a little more power to run them.
I don't know what that means exactly.
The ohms are just the resistance, if that makes sense. So the higher the ohms, the more resistance.
Which translates to
takes more power to run them, bigger magnets, cleaner sound. Generally speaking, it's going to be cleaner sound. Yeah.
Okay. All
right. I think that's why those speakers, even when he had them fully cranked, were very clean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whenever you're in doubt,
live it out.
You play this song to test your speakers, dude.
So many kinds, where can we start?
Are you
remember this
serious?
song, dude?
That's old school.
You remember this?
I like the ones with the pretty eyes.
Well, I like all
kinds
of guys.
Is this 90s
What
stuff?
happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
How about
think
the
so.
ones we especially like?
This is with the cars
Which
that boom.
ones?
You know, the ones with the cars that go.
Oh,
I hear you.
feel
Hit
it.
it.
Oh, yeah, bro.
It's got that deep, deep, deep bass.
We should have put this on our test stick. Did you have my test thumb drive, by the way, with those songs in your pocket?
Is that where I put it? I don't know where I put it.
We got to put this song on there, dude. Not a really good song to
It's
test
too low.
motorcycles. It's too low.
So
You need a bass speaker.
yeah, we can talk about the two.
Go ahead. You mind if I play that in the background?
Yeah, you can keep it there. So the thing about speakers and motorcycles is they're more of a mid-range speaker, right?
Right.
In order to really appreciate this song, you need some like 12-inch subwoofers that can really go down in the hertz. Get that low. So the lower the hertz, like a 40 or 30 hertz signal is low.
Right.
Right. So a lot of high mid-range speakers have either built-in cutoffs, or the amp will actually adjust. And on his amplifier, we adjusted it to 80 hertz. So it's going to cut off anything below 80 hertz. You're not even going to hear it.
Oh, okay.
It keeps you from damaging the speaker, because that speaker really can only go down so low.
Gotcha.
So if we would,
so it won't go. That's what we adjusted the 80 hertz on it, which makes some notes. We'll talk about
Yeah.
that. This one needs
Yeah, I
to
got
be
it right
adjusted. Okay, look at you, Jesus!
Yeah, got it right here.
You're like a pro, dude.
Yeah.
I don't even need to tell you. Okay, so because that educates me, because you know more about it than me.
Yeah,
I just
so-
know the direction said 80 hertz, so it's not gonna. It's like a low pass filter, basically. Like my
Yes.
mixer and stuff
Yes.
here, it doesn't hear things like my limiter gate doesn't hear things below a certain level, right? So it's
Yeah.
kind of similar.
and we put his on high pass.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, different speakers do different things. A subwoofer is for low music, low sounds, right? So you should have it cut off so that it doesn't have high. You don't want to try to push treble type sounds through a subwoofer.
Gotcha. Right.
So you want the lows to come through the subwoofer. You want the mids, that more of the more like a kick drum or a voice to go through your mid range, and then you want tweeters to just have the high stuff. If you try to push low hertz, like a 40 hertz signal through a tweeter, it'd fry it. And if you try to put the high pass or the higher hertz through a subwoofer, it doesn't do it justice. So
Right.
you
It's coming back to me, some of
makes
this,
sense.
yeah.
You got to have it
Yeah.
all balanced out. So what I was saying is, you're not going to get bass really. Honestly, you're
On a
not going to get a whole
motorcycle?
lot of bass
No.
out of a motorcycle. Now, with my system, which is the Stage 2 Harley-Davidson system, it actually has a true 3-way speaker. So each speaker is separate. I've got 3 speakers in mine. I've got a woofer.
Yep. On the Boom Audio Stage 2.
Not a subwoofer, but it's a woofer. It's a true
Right.
woofer, meaning it's just for the low sounds. And then it's got a mid-range speaker and it's got a tweeter. So they're all 3 separate.
Yep.
With this is and most of the other systems around are 2-way systems.
Which is my J&M is
Your
2.
J&M's a
It's got
2-way.
a tweeter, and then it's got the main speaker.
Right.
Right.
And that's what this
Which is the
has.
mids and
Rockford
lows.
Fosgate. Yeah. Mids and some low.
Yeah, but his
Yeah.
one didn't have a separate. It was kind of in the center.
Yeah. It
wasn't separated.
right. It is separate, but just different design.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
a little bit different design.
Yeah. So it is separate. Yeah. Yeah. I'm tracking.
So
Okay.
with that said, understand, you're not going to get a whole lot of bass out of these things. And really, you mentioned it going down the road at 80 miles an hour, you're not going to hear that low bass.
That's why they don't focus on bass on motorcycle speakers.
Focus on what you can hear. And
the mids and highs.
And this system was really good at that. The highs were crisp, and
Totally.
and the mid range was very crisp as well. So good, clean system. Does that clean that up?
Nice.
Okay.
Nicely done, dude. Such a stud. Look at that guy. You'd think he'd been podcasting for 5 years, taking notes and all kinds of stuff, dude. No, I appreciate you bringing your experience into this, because you do have a lot of the stereo install experience. So multiple kit. As far as, and I do find it interesting that they're clearly Rockford Fosgate is focusing on the motorcycles too, because like you said, they made it very plug and play. And by the way, I'll tell you guys real quick, by the time this episode comes out, lawabidingbiker.com/whatever episode number this is, I will have affiliate links because I'm sure some of the motorcycle distributors sell these, and I will include affiliate links on where you can purchase this kit. I don't have an affiliate with Rockford Fosgate directly, but if you buy it, should we look? Let's look on one of our affiliates, Revzilla.
Oh, live. We're looking live
looking
to see if
live.
there's the Rockford Fosgate.
Because I need to make some affiliates so people
Revzilla.
that want to support us. No, they don't
No?
sell it. So
Okay,
let's
who
go to
else?
JMP.
Come on.
We're going to
Come
JMP,
on.
and we'll see if they sell Rockford Fosgate stuff. So we'll just do Rockford.
They've got. Oh,
No, they've got some older stuff. Do they? Let me know if you see it. I can stop.
yeah. Scroll,
Interesting.
Yeah, scroll back up there. Nope. More. Up,
More.
up.
Okay, going up.
This is very thrilling for the audience.
It
Okay.
is.
Nope, they don't have it.
Interesting, dude. So let me do this. Rockford
Fosgate.
See if they do it that way. But no, maybe I won't have any affiliate links. Maybe I'm not sure who some of the main dealers are. But by the time, if there is, because in the interest of moving on, because you guys are bored by now, but searching the web here. If there is affiliate links where you can buy Rockford Fosgate, of course, I'll put it in the show notes. If not, at least if you're going to buy it, support us and purchase the install video. We will make it very easy for you. Again, the video may not be out by the time this is, but I'm going to put that up as a priority, Lurch. Okay. Next film day.
Yes.
We're doing it.
Okay.
We're going to get Robbie's bike and do it because we do need to get this out, especially. It would be nice to have that done before this podcast came out. So if not, don't get mad at us.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. We're working as hard as we can behind the scenes here. So, but back to my point is they are clearly making it plug and play. And I can honestly tell you that it's very much as easy to install with our video as the J&M system. We will show you, we break the plugs down like this is in, this is out. Honestly, back in the day, when we first installed some of these systems with the new 14 and on, it was kind of confusing. We show you very simple and it will make sense on like, oh, well, yeah, duh. It's that easy now because all these systems pretty much install the same now that they're more universal, right? And they're using the Harley plugs to coincide with the stock plugs. And so, trust me, you watch the video, you'll be like, that's so easy, but if you don't, it's actually, it can be a little bit confusing. You're like, I remember installing our first Hog Tunes years and years ago. We were like, geez, but now, we hardly need to read the directions because they're all pretty much very similar.
They're very similar. The biggest
the amp plates are the biggest difference.
Yeah,
how are they going to, they all mount in the same place. It's just,
how are they going to do it?
How are they going to do their plate and their heat sink if they use a heat sink, right? And other than that, they're pretty, even the Harley system itself. So, yeah.
I would say other than the Harley system, this is one of the easier ones to mount.
Yep.
Yeah, they kind of got that figured out.
Oh, good. Yeah, nice. Because you're usually the installer. I'm just the filmer. Yeah, there you go. All right. What else about the system do you want to talk about?
The amplifier has some settings on it, and we'd show you in the video how to do it, but it is a 4-channel amplifier, and you use 2 channels on it. If in the video we use 2 channels on it because we just put front speakers in, and I think I mentioned earlier the cool thing about this
is one of the pros.
This is one of the pros about this. So now to just ratchet it back a second, if I wanted to put another set of speakers, say in my bags
on my Boom
bike,
Audio Stage 2 kit,
I would have to add a second amplifier in one of the bags to take up some room.
Same with the J&M, right?
Yeah. Oh, I think so.
Yeah. You got to add an amp in the rear.
Cool thing about this one, it's a 4-channel amp, and you could run another set of speakers off the same amp. So that's kind of cool.
You'd have to run another lead underneath. And I'm trying to remember J&M, dude.
Yeah, you'd have to run some wiring back to the back.
I think J&M, because we sell that video as we run the harness. We show them how to run the harness. So I don't think you need another amp for the J&M. You do for the Boom Audio.
You do for Boom Audio.
I believe J&M. If I'm wrong, then don't kill me. But
no, I think you're probably right. That was probably also a 4.
I believe in our install video because we sell that for Road Glide and Street Glide, and we talk in there about, we show you how to run the extra harness to the rear for the rear system. But maybe that I'm going to tell you I'm 50-50. I don't know at this time. Should we look it up or not?
Yeah, you look it up as I'm talking.
But you know what I mean? The J&M, I know we show how to run the harness, but you may still have to put an amp because either way, you're going to have to run an extra harness back there. Whether you need an amp or not is a totally different. Does that make sense?
Right. So while you're looking on this system, when he's talking about harness, you'd have to run. You're just blowing
me off, dude.
You'd have to run. You
just completely blew me off. While you're looking, let me just run this podcast.
You look and I'll talk because you're over there.
I'm just messing with
twiddling your keys. So with this one, it has a rear channel, and you would have to run the wires back, which isn't a big deal. So that's kind of cool. But it does have some settings in there you got to adjust, and they tell you how to do it and everything, and pretty cool. Just a really good, clean setup. And I do like that you can run everything off one amplifier.
Yeah, that is nice. I'm looking up J&M Rocker Audio 2014 to 2018. Again, this video's out. It's been out for a long, long time. This is actually one of our hot sellers, isn't it, Matt? A lot of people. What do you want me to do? Just tell me.
Stop moving up and down.
Okay.
Nope. Or just go ahead and move it again if you want to.
I just moved it up when he said stop moving it up and down.
So here's what it says on the J&M. At the very heart of these custom systems are our choice of J&M in-fairing.
I'm making it bigger
mounted
for you.
2 or 4-channel amplifier. So you can buy a 2-channel or a 4-channel amp.
Gotcha.
Right.
And we bought the 4-channel, and we showed him how to run the harness in the video, I believe.
Yeah, actually, you can go up to 6
or
along
8.
with 8 total tweeters. 8. Yeah, so I think we just had the 2-channel in your bike.
No, we had the 4 because we showed him how to run the harness to the rear. Because I thought in the future that we may do lid speakers and update that video. Yeah. So I have the 4-channel in there.
They have an 8-channel amp. Holy crap!
I know. Crazy.
So that's kind of neat about them. But the downside of the Harley system is you need an amp for the front, amp for the back. On the stage 2, I should say, because on that stage 2, we actually had to use all 4 channels. One channel ran the subwoofers, so basically 2 channels ran each subwoofer, and the other channel ran the mids and the highs.
Oh,
so,
on your boom audio,
yeah,
right.
So with the stage 1, you wouldn't have to do that, but the stage 2, because they're truly 3-way speakers, 2 of the channels ran the woofers, and the other 2 ran the mids and highs. So it kind of depends on what you're installing. But if you're going full stage 2 on the Harley, and you're putting stage 2 speakers in the front and the back, you'd need 2 amplifiers.
Right. Yeah, nice. I'm just making some notes. All right. Don't turn on before flashing. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We're going to talk about flashing. We're not going to talk about it yet, but we will get into that. I've got it in my notes, and I'm making some notes for the video because I've still got to do the intro to the video and add some things there. So with that said, what do you say, Lurch, that we do this? And then we've actually got a whole bunch more information for you guys. So definitely do it.
Hey, bikeaholics searching for new and exciting motorcycle products? Zero 3D has just what you're looking for. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Zero 3D's got your back with chrome lining and comfort products. No modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for an easy installation that equals less time installing and more time riding. Zero 3D has a design team with over 40 years experience with a passion for design and innovation. These guys are bikers and they care about bikers just like you. They pride themselves on great customer service. Got a question? Get in touch with them via email at sales@zero3d.com or give them a call at 715-808-0027. Zero 3D is distributed in the United States by Drag Specialties, in Europe by Parts Europe and Zodiac, and in Asia by Twin Art. Check out your local Harley dealership and ask for Zero Parts. Better yet, help support us and head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store and check out our full line of Zero 3D products.
That is right. God bless Zero 3D. We love their team over there. Everybody that works over at Zero, we've got a great relationship with them, and they truly do care about the law-abiding biker community, which is why we love being associated with them. All right, so let's talk about what do you want to move into? You want to move into flashing now or what? Or sound? We should probably do it. Let's talk about, did we talk about all the settings? 80 hertz. Talk about the settings real quick. This amp, but the instructions are very clear, and our video will be very clear. We actually show you close-up shots of exactly where to turn each screw. It does have some settings, which is in contrast to the J&M, which the J&M to me, again, regardless of talking about sound, is one of the easiest systems because it just works out of the box. But this does take super easy though, super easy.
Yeah, this is really easy. It's got several settings on it. It's got a front and rear input, and you adjust those dials to the 12 o'clock position. It has equalizer adjustment for both front and rear, and you set those at minimum. Then the amp, we set it as a 2-channel because he just had the front speakers, but you could put it in 4-channel.
He may add it later, he said.
He may later on.
Greg may.
And then you adjust the frequency setting to 80 hertz. So it cuts out anything below 80.
Right, we talked about the good.
And then it's got filters, and you got to push the filter to high pass. There's high pass. There's an AP, which I can't remember what AP stands for.
Right.
All automatic?
I don't know.
But there's LP, low pass, HP, and there's AP, and then there's a high pass, HP. You push them both to high pass.
Yep, and we show you this in the video, but you'll definitely, it does, you just want to make sure your settings are right. It's not hard, so we don't want to scare you off from it. It's super easy. It's a no-brainer. Get the settings how they recommend them, and you'll be good to go from there. Anything else that you want to talk about before we move on?
Nope.
Okay, so let's move right into flashing, which I have some opinions on.
Okay.
So this system, and jump in anytime you want that I screw this up. All right, so here's the deal. Number one, any system that you're putting in, I shouldn't say any system, but most systems, you're going to have to flash your boombox. And what that entails is going to a dealership and having them use their digital tech is what it's called. And I've seen it. I've been with dealers when they've been looking at it, and we've actually helped them flash systems. And with our video, remember I put out that free one?
Right.
Brad, I believe down in California, took that video to his dealer because he didn't know how to flash. So, our videos for the WIM, the wireless Harley interface, the wireless headset interface module, their dealerships are actually using our videos because my dealership works with me and I can put the video out.
They let you show the screen and everything and where to check and what to do.
Yeah, because dealerships don't know. So you're going to have it flashed. You're going to have it flashed for most of the systems besides J&M. Now, with that said, that's one of the things about this system, the Rockford Fosgate, is the dealership are getting kind of wise to aftermarket systems. Now, J&M, they do it in their amp. They convert the signal in their amp. So
No flash required.
no flash required. Your boombox, you just it's good to go as it is. With this Rockford Fosgate, you're going to have. Now, I will say the J&M, if you don't have it flashed to factory, so if your stereo's factory and you put the J&M system in, you're golden. But if you already had like a Rockford Fosgate or some other system, and then you went to put the J&M, you may have to reflash it to their settings. But if you have a stock boombox system, the J&M, you're good to go as it is. Interesting, Harley's getting wise. They're not getting wise. They're being stingy. Harley is what I'll say. They will not. So as of the time of this podcast, and we learned this from Greg, wealth of information, that guy, he says Harley will no longer support these aftermarket systems. So if you go into Harley and you have a Rockford Fosgate, yeah, I have that website up right here, bro.
Okay,
Matt's
perfect.
showing me a website. So yeah, I know what you're talking about, but it's all
Too many tabs.
I'll get it. I know what you're talking about. I know right where it is. So they give a warning on there, on their website, Rockford Fosgate, that, hey, Harley is no longer supporting aftermarket stereo systems. Imagine that. Harley wants your money. They want you to buy the boom audio. So if you take your bike in with an aftermarket stereo system and tell them to flash it, they're not going to do it. Okay. Unless you buy their Harley stamped boom audio stage 2. But don't worry, because there are companies out there that have hacked, for lack of a better term, they have developed, got coders and developed code to, instead of digital technician, which covers everything in the system of the Harley. You can manipulate the way signals work and all kinds of stuff, but they've developed software to get into the boombox, which is made by Harman Kardon, so that they can flash it, so to speak, and change the settings in it. One of those companies, Greg made us aware of, is Techno Research. Now, Techno Research develops the software. They work with Rockford Fosgate. Rockford Fosgate, in turn, works with their dealers so that they have the software necessary to flash the boombox system to work with Rockford Fosgate. I hope this is not confusing. So all you have to do, in a nutshell, is get on Rockford Fosgate site, and I have it up here. Let me get rid of it. We're done with J&M. We're done with J&P. We got so many tabs open here, it's ridiculous. But Techno Research works with right here. So you can get on the Rockford Fosgate site, and it has a warning right there. And then below it, it tells you exactly which dealers you can get in. And we have a list right here from the Rockford Fosgate site that tells you which dealers in which states have the necessary Techno Research software to flash your system. And these aren't going to be dealerships. These are going to be independent motorcycle shops that distribute and sell and promote Rockford Fosgate systems. So you want to get on those. Yeah, go ahead.
And there's, oddly enough, there's actually a few Harley-Davidson dealerships.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, see, the first one's Arrowhead, Harley-Davidson, and Peoria. So there are
So I
actually
stand
several.
corrected.
Yeah, there are several Harley shops because I think they are selling
Rockford Fosgate. Each
yes.
dealership gets to decide
Right.
what
Right.
products they promo. Right. So yeah, never mind. You may be in an area. Lurch brought that to my attention. That's good to know that
But
some
those
dealerships
will not be able to use the Harley Ride Tech, right? Is that right? Ride Tech?
it's digital tech.
Digital Tech to flash it. They're going to have to use this other product.
They're going to have to get it from
Yeah.
technoresearch.com.
Right.
They will have to have rights
They
to
have
that
to
software.
They'll have to invest into that.
Yep.
But there's places in Arizona and California, lots in Arizona, California, Colorado, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana. I mean, just keeps on going.
So you can probably find something.
there's almost every state, it looks
Oregon,
like.
yeah, there is. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So but you'll have to flash it to 0, right?
Yeah, basically what it's doing is it's dumbing down the signal.
Thank you.
And one thing that Greg said that I picked up on when he came over here is he said they flashed it and the stereo still worked, but it was really quiet.
He went to a place over on the west side.
Yeah.
You remember what the name of it was?
Oh, it's called Dead Center.
Dead Center?
Dead Center.
You have the card, but yeah, as long as you're sure it's Dead
it's
Center.
over there, but it's called Dead Center.
Okay.
It's in Lacey, Washington, and they adjusted it. So basically what they're doing is they're flattening out the EQ curve. The factory Harley-Davidson.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the it's hard to explain, but the sound the different frequencies. They've got an equalizer in there. It's cranking them up. Because that's specific for the boom.
Right.
Now, that's going to be a lot. I'll try to dumb it down. That's going to be a hotter signal coming into the amp. So the boom is sending out
it's got like 25 watts.
25 watts of power, and it's got an equalizer setting in there.
And you don't want to send that 25 watts into your amp. You want to send it in dead. I'm being stupid because that's how I think about it.
Perfect.
Right?
So you don't want to send an amplified signal into an amplifier to send it out to your speakers.
Gotcha.
You want to send what they call a line level signal, very low signal into the amplifier and let it do its thing.
Let it do its work.
Yeah, otherwise it's going to distort.
It's coming in too hot.
Yeah,
coming in hot, Lurch.
Coming in hot. I think you had a podcast. You had a podcast that you moved all the equipment out here to the new studio, and you didn't have one of your settings right, and you're like, my gain's too high, and that's the same thing on amplifier. It's the gain.
Nice.
So you're sending a hot signal into your mixer that's getting amplified, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be very dirty.
Nice.
You want a clean signal. You want a line level clean signal and let that amplifier do its work. So you don't want to amplify and then re-amplify.
Nice.
Yeah. So this flash takes out the Harley boom EQ curve and flattens it and sends a line level signal into the amplifier. So it's a clean signal. It gets amplified and then goes out to your speakers.
And in contrast, J&M does this. It's all internal. It's all internal in the amp. They take the hot signal, so you don't need to flash your system. They're basically saying, we're going to take the hot signal into our amp, but we have a codec, for lack of a better term, of some sorts in there that dumbs it down back to line, and then we send it out. So you go ahead and send the hot signal to us. We're good with that, but we'll fix it once you get into our amp, and we won't send it out, right?
Yeah, and there are amplifiers in the audio or the car audio world that'll do that too. You could take a factory stereo and send a hot signal into it, speaker lines into it, and it inside the amplifier does all the technical crap and makes a clean signal.
Magic.
Yeah, throws it back out. So
yeah, nice. So there you go. You are going to have to do that. Now, I will warn you guys, and I made notes for this for our video, Lurch, because we didn't say it. We went in the video when we filmed it, and we just turned the stereo on. We want to warn people against that, right? Because if your stereo system isn't flashed, you could blow your, just like the Boom Audio Stage 2 specifically tells you, do not play your stereo
until it's
leave
flashed.
Your system on until it's flashed. So I put that in my notes because I need to put that in the video, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to do a talking and say, hey, before, because we turned it right on.
Turn it on,
I want people to do that.
But he'd already flashed it.
So I want to put, hey, before the next step, make sure that you go down before you test your system and make sure it's flashed by one of these distributors, Rockford Fosgate, that can appropriate it, because you can ruin your system, right? Because it's too hot.
You can ruin the speakers because you're sending it just it's a hot, nasty signal, and they weren't made to play that type of the signal that you're sending out of.
And that's what I was making notes over here, like for the video, because I got to do the intro and outro and all that. And I just want to make sure at that point when we get to that in the video that there's a hey, before we turn this on, we flashed it. Now, the nice thing is, which I want to bring up, actually,
it's nice to have it flashed ahead of time.
I agree.
Then you can test everything, make sure your system works before you button it up. Otherwise, you could potentially have something not hooked up right. You go down and have it flashed, and then it doesn't work.
Right, yeah.
I like that he had it flashed ahead of time.
I like that too.
Yeah, that was
definitely
nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got much more information for you. Are you searching for the easiest and quickest detachable luggage system for your motorcycle? Rick Rack has just what you're looking for. Forget all those frustrating straps and bungee cords that can come loose and slap your paint. Check out one of Rick Rack's awesome quick attach strapless luggage rack systems. This father-son team designed something really special that you can't find anywhere else. I guarantee it. Yep. These guys ride, so they truly understand the needs of bikers. The Rick Rack quick attach system is strong, durable, secure with a lockable system. Yep. Also, check out their full line of quality touring bags to accompany your quick detach system. Once you use Rick Rack, you'll never go back. What are you waiting for, Bikeaholics? Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out your full line of Rick Rack systems and our full line of Rick Rack systems and bags. That's right. lawabidingbiker.com/store. That's right, guys. And I will tell you that don't forget, it's good for your touring, full touring, so your ultras. A lot of our videos show the Street Glide, which is what I use it on, but it also is a wonderful addition to your Ultra. Goes on the top of your trunk on your luggage rack system, so you get double the space. You get your trunk and that luggage rack that's on top of your trunk, like Oscar's bike, you put a Rick Rack system on top of that, and now you've got double the storage. So there you go.
And you can go for 2-3 weeks. You're set. You got everything you need.
And I just used it recently, several weeks ago, on my 4,300-mile cross-country 9-day trip all over the U.S., and I literally every day, off and on, within 10 seconds, my Rick Rack luggage system
That's
from my
pretty
Rick
cool.
Rack. And I'm so stoked and so sold on the Rick Rack system. I wished I would have learned about it sooner, because I could be done. And I even have film gear in all my bags. I could have my bag off and ready to go into the hotel before other guys who are trying to unstrap all their stuff. That's how I used to roll till I learned about Rick Rack. So there you go. Yeah, I would say, Lurch, flash your system. It's a really good deal to have your system flashed ahead of time. I would promote that from now on. We've installed a lot of systems, but I agree. And even the boom audio and stuff, you can flash ahead of time, just because it's just tick marks in the digital technician software. Yeah, it's just tick marks. So
yeah, I had mine.
We did it after.
I had mine flashed for the whim ahead of time. I installed it after I got it flashed.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the wireless headset interface module.
I guess I never just thought of that. In the past, we've always flashed afterwards.
I know.
I have flashed ahead.
Yep. Be ready. And that way, when, like us today in the video, we would suggest this, we had everything torn apart, seat off, tank off, fairing off. We show you how to do all this in our videos, of course. Before we put anything back together, because it was flashed, we were able to test it right there in the shop to know that our part of this project was done correctly. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get to it, and we're going to finish this up. The Rockford Fosgate system. We've had a long day working in the studio. The Rockford Fosgate system. We went out. Is there anything else before we talk about our opinions and finalize this podcast?
Really easy to install.
No, before we finalize.
Oh.
Is there anything else you want to talk about on the install, or things that the audience needs to know besides our opinion?
No.
Okay. All right. Then let's start wrapping it up.
Okay. Very easy to install system. Their mounting solution was clean. They had an adapter for the Road Glide, so you can mount it up underneath the boom, and their mounting solution to put on top of the Street Glide, easy. 4 spacers, so you can kind of keep the heat out between the boom and the amp. 4 screws would go on. All plug and play. A very high quality cable, speaker wire, power wire. Everything was heavy and very flexible.
I agree.
And it was labeled very well. I like that. So the install was super easy. The speakers went in super easy. So from an install level, they did a really good job. It's meant to work for the Harley, and the installation is made easier because of the labeling that they put on their stuff.
You're right. That's a good point, because the others don't necessarily do that. They did a very good job at putting label. In our video, we'll show you this, clutch side, left side as sitting on the bike, right side, brake side. Yeah. And so it is always because we ran into that today, right? Greg was like, wait, which left side and right side are you talking about? And we're like, well, as you're sitting on the bike, but it clearly states that on
their
the labels.
tag
that it's
not only
clutch,
says
so
left, but it says clutch.
Right.
Left side, clutch side. So I like that. Very, very easy to install because of that.
Yep. Why don't you talk? Actually, let me talk about install really quick.
Okay.
And then we'll go to sound.
Okay.
We did have a decibel meter, which we'll talk about. But here's the deal. I agree. As easy as the boom with our video, of course. We've learned all this over time, and that's what we do. We're here to help bikers, and that's why we make these videos. This is a for-purchase video, of course, for obvious reasons, to keep the lights on around here. But it's as far as the install, as easy as the J&M with our video, as straightforward as the boom audio stage 2. Very, very much plug and play. You can tell they focused on Harley-Davidson. They didn't do which cycle sounds. That was one of the downsides to cycle sounds, was it was kind of, you had to do some splicing and things, which we show you how to do. But I like the fact that they're clearly focusing on Harley and using the Harley plugs and all that kind of stuff. So I agree. The install with our video is we can make it very straightforward to you. I do like their amp system, the way that they did the plates. It was very good, clean use of engineering. I don't know how to say that, like ingenuity.
It was just
it was very
well engineered.
Very well, thank you. Very well engineered, and in their design of
Not
how
a lot of extra crap.
No, made it solid both for the Street Glide and the Road Glide.
Yeah.
Very simple tweak of the system to make it work in both bikes.
Yeah, Road Glide, they just had one adapter you put onto the heat sink and it slid into place.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it slid into place.
Really was.
2 bolts held it where it needed to be.
I know, beautiful.
Yeah,
it really
well
was.
designed.
I was stoked about that. So I agree with Lurch, very high quality. The cables, they use loom on it, which a lot of the other systems don't, right where it goes through the neck and up into the fairing.
Good point.
We show you about, how to do all that, guys, how to run it through your trough and remove your tank and all that, but none of the other systems have loom. They clearly knew exactly where it ran through the neck because they put loom there. Mm-hmm. So very thought out, very thought out.
A mesh wire loom to protect the wires.
Yes, yes, very thought out that way. So I have no problems with the quality of it. The amp itself was smaller than some of the other amps. Relative, right? It wasn't a massive amount smaller, but it seems smaller than like the J&M because we opened up my bike. Didn't it seem smaller or am I full of it?
Yeah, it was close.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Pretty close.
Negligible.
Yeah. Not enough to worry about.
Right. Okay. Very well said. It does have adjustments on it, which we talked about. So that's fine. We'll talk about cons in a second. So with that said, we're happy with the quality. We're happy with the install. We think you out there will be happy with it. You would not be dissatisfied. Talk about sound real quick.
The sound was really clean.
What do you mean by that?
By that, I mean it didn't distort. He was able to, and it's hard to, so I've got to know here about sound.
Yeah.
When you use a decibel meter, all that means is it's
he had
loud.
one. Greg had one.
And that was cool.
And it's cool. It's fun.
It's fun
I'm
to
with
see.
you on
I mean,
this.
if you want to get them, if they're close, great. The thing about it is decibels are just sound. It's just how loud it is. It could be shitty sound, but really loud.
Correct.
Right.
Decibel doesn't tell you whether it's quality sound.
Right.
It tells you about how loud.
Right.
Like pipes.
Yeah,
you can use
exactly.
it for pipes. Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's 104 decibels. What's that mean? Not a lot when it comes to audio. You want good, clean sound.
I had a Krakow stereo in high school that may have been 100 decibels. Sound like shit. Just Krakow.
Yeah.
Remember the old Krakow stereo, dude?
Yeah,
straight
for
up.
sure. But with the adjustments they instruct you to do on this amplifier, they've got it dialed in because it was good, clean sound. You could crank it up loud. The highs were crisp. The mids were right where they needed to be. No distortion. It was just a good, clean sound. And I think those are the waves or the hertz that you need to hear when you're riding down the road. You need to have the highs. You need to have those mids. And so very, very clean sound. I was impressed with that.
Yeah. So what was a good, just because we're playing and then we'll wrap this episode up. What songs did we listen to in
Billie Jean. Oh.
No, in high school for bass, dude.
Oh,
just because I'm on a...
Put DJ Magic Mike in there.
DJ Magic Mike.
It was a lot of really low hertz, like just shake your car and blow your windows. I mean,
But you need the 12-inch, like...
You need some 12 to 18-inch subwoofers, yeah.
DJ Magic Mike, dude. Oh, yeah, you can't see what I have because I don't have it on.
Oh, there you go.
Let's try
hit
this.
That, drop that bass.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Hit that one right there.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I don't even know if it'll come through on, it depends on what people are listening to.
If they're listening on earbuds, dude.
Yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah.
It's not very loud. My volume's all the way up. Oh, there.
There you go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, DJ Magic Mike, baby. Reminds me of my old high school days and building speaker boxes out of particle board.
Yeah.
Remember? And putting carpet on them, dude. I did all
Oh,
that.
yeah, me too. The funny thing about this is
Smoking cigs in the garage, dude. Smoking cigs. My dad let me smoke cigs, dude. Yeah.
even in these headphones, you could just barely hear the bass, but it was so low. It go boom, 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 boom.
Remember we used to look for those songs? Yeah. Didn't care what the song said. Didn't care what the song was about as long as it had low bass.
Yeah, and I think I've said this in other podcasts. I had what is called an epicenter. You put the epicenter in line from your signal into your amplifier, and it would distort the bass and make it really low. So you can listen like Pearl Jam and get this low bass out. You just turn the epicenter up, but you just get that low, long bass and just shake the shit out of your car. I mean, you'd knock all the nuts and bolts
Right,
loose.
just rattle going down the road.
yeah.
And that's not
the
what
rear
we're-
license plate would just shake.
And my point on this is that's not what we're looking for in motorcycles because you're not going to get it.
No, you
guys.
want a
unless you
good-
have a trailer with a generator and you tow a trailer with big,
Right.
But and that's what a lot of guys focus on, and we've talked about. That's why I'm making fun of it. You're just not going to get that on a motorcycle, guys. And to your point, that's what you're looking for on a motorcycle is going down the freeway at 70, 80 miles an hour and having something that you can actually hear. You're never going to get the sound quality of a car. It's just not going to happen. So bear that in mind. And I agree with this system is it was super crisp, super clean. I have no negative to say about the sound of it.
I don't either.
It was less bass. My J&M has a little more bass. But again, here's what you got to decide. Are you going to be at shows and in a parking lot listen to your system? Or we've talked about this in the past. Or are you want a system for actually riding your motorcycle down the road like I did recently across multiple states, and having something that you can hear at those mid and high levels, right?
This was
It's a decision.
So these Rockford Fosgates were technically a two-way speaker, but they weren't separates.
Yep.
So it's a combined speaker.
I thought you said they were separates in a different form earlier.
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
You
but
did.
Let me
You did.
clear.
So
that.
I want to make sure.
Let me clean that up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so it is a two-way speaker, meaning it's got a woofer, and then it has another speaker for the mids and the highs, but they're not separate pieces.
Thank you.
So they're not separate.
Because that was
I may have
confusing
said that.
earlier.
I may
You
have
did.
said that, so
You
let me
said it
clean
was
it up.
separates in a different form.
So so they are separated, but they're not actually separate pieces. Does that
Right,
make
yes,
sense?
yes.
It's one speaker, and the center cone has the the mids and the highs in it, and then the outside piece
It's
is a woofer.
one piece,
It's
but
a
it's-
one-piece speaker, but it's a two-way.
It's not
meaning-
just a bass speaker.
Yeah, meaning
Right.
it's two-way, but it's not separates.
Thank you.
Now,
Because I'm glad we cleaned that up.
Now your J&M is a separate, so it's
Right.
two separate speakers. You've got your woofer, and then you've got your mid and your high,
Like
which is
you.
another. Yeah, so that's so your J&M is a two-way separate.
Separate. Yep. Nice.
So
nice.
The Rockford Fosgate was a two-way.
It's
speaker.
one big speaker, but
Right.
it has multiple components in it.
Right.
Yes.
Perfect.
Oh,
Now
nice.
the Boom Audio that I have is a three-way separate.
Yes.
And it's got a woofer, it's got a mid
And they're
speaker,
all
and
separated.
a tweeter, and they're all separated, and that's why
It's three separate speakers.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly, and that's why I had to use all four channels of my amplifier to run those two speakers, because two of the channels run the woofer, and the other two run the mids and the highs.
Nice. Thank you. That's very helpful to me, so I know it's helpful.
So one thing,
excuse me, to the audience.
yeah. So one thing Greg said, he goes, "I can hear a little bit more bass in yours." Okay,
I agree.
He's right. There are more, but I'll tell you what. When I'm going down the road, 80 miles an hour,
You don't
I
hear
can't
bass.
Yeah, you can't hear and feel it.
Mids and highs are
That's
what you're
what
going
you
to actually
really need. That's what
hear.
you should focus on a motorcycle, those mids and highs, so that you
Yep.
can hear it going down the road.
Well
and,
said.
And the Fosgate system has that. It's
It
good.
does.
It's good. It's clean. You can crank it up.
You would not be dissatisfied if you decide to buy that, guys. The J&M, it sounds great, and we're not doing a comparison necessarily here. We've done that in the past. It sounds great too, and I've tested it for 2 years now, a year and a half, whenever, 2 years, and I love it. It doesn't mean that the Rockford Fosgate is bad. I would buy that too if I got a new bike. You know what I mean? I'd have to decide what system am I going to buy. I would be torn between the two, and I would be happy with both. I agree. The J&M has a little bit more bass too than the Rockford Fosgate. It's definitely keys on the highs. Money is a big issue. We'll talk about that, right? Like price. We'll have to pull that up real quick, and then we'll wind this down. So at the end of the day, I know Greg was.
Oh yeah, he was thrilled. He had big smiles.
He was. Big smiles, dude. Great
I
guy. I saw the twinkle in his eye, dude.
Yeah, and he had some stage one speakers that were already installed in his. So he had the Boom with the stage one, which is an upgrade. I mean, it definitely sounds good, and this was much more impressive than his stage one. It was louder and it was cleaner.
Yep, I agree. So let's do this real quick, and then we'll tie up our final
You gonna do
thoughts,
a little
dude. Well,
price?
Hang on. I can't tell you what I'm doing, dude. It's a secret. And
Okay.
It's a secret
All
to
right.
the audience right now, dude. Here's the deal, Lurch. We absolutely love our patrons, right? And we want our patrons to get involved. I mean, because we want to get to know them in the private Facebook group and all that kind of stuff. But we never balk at a flat donation, bro. So if the only way you can support us is through a flat donation, we appreciate it very, very much. I want to thank the following people for flat donations.
Thomas Baker, David, oh my goodness, Ablegard of Upper Marlboro, Maryland. And he donated after asking a question. Appreciate that, because we definitely take the time to do some research for people, and there's a lot of time involved in some of those questions that people ask if we don't know it off the top of our head. But we try to answer every question, and so the donation after the question asked, much appreciated. And Kenton Greener of Portage, Michigan.
That's right. lawabidingbiker.com/donate is how they did that. And again, we always love our patrons, but we understand if the way you want to do is a flat donation, then so be it. We're not going to balk at that. All right, guys, thanks for those flat donations. It helps put a little fuel in the law-abiding biker gas tank so we can keep this thing
running on down the road.
So at the end of the day, we're going to wrap this up. The Rockford Fosgate, pros and cons. The only con that I see, we've already talked about the pros. The only con that I have with the Rockford Fosgate system is this whole techno research thing. Okay. And I'm just going to be honest. And I talked to Greg a little bit about this, and Harley's being a jerk about it because they're trying to be, we're only going to flash your system if you use our system, because of course the boom audio stage 2 is very expensive. Matt brought that up, Lurch, here about price. We'll talk about that real quick. They want you to buy their stuff, and they want to make you flash it and all that. They get money for all that. The one thing I want to tell you real quick, Lurch, about the Techno Research Flash, if you guys are wondering, if you go to a certified Rockford Fosgate distributor / flasher, I'm going to call them flashers, all right, that have the software, or a dealership that flashes it. Greg said it costs between $30 and $50. It's about a half hour to an hour labor, and I wouldn't pay any more than that, but that's about what they're charging. You have something to say?
In his folks did it for free.
Yes.
Because he had bought it from them.
So there you go. So work that out with your particular motorcycle shop that's going to flash this for you. If you buy it from them, I think a lot of them would probably do it for free. So be aware of that. But if not, $30 to $50, I think would be reasonable. It's not an extremely difficult process. So that's one of the downsides I see to it. That's just me personally. Doesn't mean I won't get it. Absolutely not. I'm running the J&M system on my bike. I'm very happy with it. I've used it for 2 years. We have affiliate links if you want to purchase that system. Of course, the install video, all that kind of stuff. I just used it for days and days and days on a cross-country trip a couple weeks ago. And it's just a phenomenal system. But I loved the Rockford Fosgate system. And I'm not saying if I get a new bike, which one I would get, I'll have to decide at the time. But that's the one thing. I like the J&M because you can flash it. I like the boom audio sounds great too. That's a contender right in there, although it's a bit more expensive. But at the end of the day, I'm actually quite torn on what to exactly recommend to you guys. But you won't be disappointed with the boom audio stage 2. You won't be disappointed with the J&M. You wouldn't be disappointed with the Rockford Fosgate. You want to talk price real quick, Lurch? Are you still researching that? Lurch is researching it while I'm doing it. So there you go. And, hog tunes, honestly, we're not going to get into that today, but it's one of the cheaper options. It's at the end of the day, a lot of it comes down to, and I get it, is how much funds do you have and what are you looking for? So I get that's something that you have to take into account. Now, Greg, of course, I think he said this system cost him around $850 or something like that. So that's a reasonable price for what he got. I'm telling you, playing that system today. Now, decibels, let me talk about that real quick. Decibels before we talk about price. We tested the system and we had the decibel meter and Greg had the decibel meter, and it was cool to see. And like Lurch says, at the end of the day, decibels to me don't mean a whole bunch. To me, I want to actually hear it. Is it clean? Is it distorted? Decibel meters are fun, and we had one, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really tell you the true story. Which another point, why we don't actually play the systems on video, guys, is because some YouTube people that do stuff on YouTube try to play videos of the system and how it sounds. You can't relate that on a video camera, depending on what kind of audio you're pulling, depending on post-production, depending on what type of computer or speakers the other person is listening. We do it with exhaust sometimes, but we have a baseline. So we'll show you the stock exhaust, and then we'll do the same exact shots with the same exact settings, with the same exact editing, and we ask you to wear earphones. And we do that with exhaust because it gives you some sort of a semblance of what it sounds like. It's really, really hard to do with stereo systems. So that's why we get emails, and that's why we don't do it, because I can't relate that to you. You really have to hear it in person. And hopefully in this podcast, you can hear our opinion, which is more important, and trust that opinion that it sounds great. So the decibel meter, yeah, go ahead.
With the exhaust, you're more listening to the notes, the tone,
Very
right?
good.
Is it low? Is it high? Is it ratty? What does it sound like? So you can listen to something and say, I like the sound of that.
Right.
Problem with audio.
Compared to stock, which we always do, right?
Yes. So with exhaust, it's much easier to hear it and go, I like that. With the audio, it just, you can't.
It's lost in translation.
So lost, yeah.
Yep, depending. Yeah, so good point. So that's why we don't do it, guys. And so we had a decibel meter. Now, we only tested Lurch's system as boom audio, which I'm sure the J&M would have been right in there. I mean, this is negligible. All
Within
around
a couple
100 decibels.
Yeah.
Cranking. We have a memory stick with certain songs on it that really test that. Those decibels that are nice, clean, high, low songs, basically. And it was all, Greg's with the Rockford Fosgate was within 100, a little bumping over a little 100. Lurch's boom audio stage 2 was a little over 100. So there you go. Decibel out, out of the way. They're all very, very close. So let's talk about price then.
The Rockford Fosgate's $850, as you mentioned earlier, and the Harley Stage 2 and the J&M system, the Rocker Extreme, are both right around $1,000.
So there you go, about 150 cheaper.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and one of the things I've noticed about the Rockford Fosgate and the J&M, they've got their amps dialed in to not overpower their speakers, and you get a really clean sound at full volume.
So I can turn mine all the way up, and it doesn't distort my
yours
J&M,
all the way up,
and I do like that, and it's clean all the way up.
Yeah, and then one of the things I have to be careful with the HD system is I think they got too many amps coming out, too many watts coming out of their amp going to their speakers, and you can overdrive them, meaning too much horsepower, if that makes sense, right? So you have to be careful and adjust it, and sometimes I have to scale back the bass a little bit. And that is most likely because they don't have the right filters on it, right? So because I have a true subwoofer, maybe they're sending a little bit more horsepower to it.
Right.
And so I just have to know that sometimes on a song like DJ Magic Mike, it's going to let more.
DJ Magic
there's going to be more of that low frequency coming through my speakers.
Right.
And I can overdrive them. So I have to go in and adjust mine. So for rock, I can have the bass higher.
Right.
For music like DJ Magic Mike, I'd have to crank the bass down. But the J&M and the Rockford Fosgate have it's dialed in to not let those low hertz go through.
Nice.
And so it's a cleaner sound, and so you guys can crank it full volume most likely and not overdrive your speakers. It's a big difference between the two there.
Nice, dude. Nice. Yeah. There you go.
And then the one downside again is the aftermarket flash, if you will.
The flash. And the reason I say that's a downside, guys, is you got to find a shop, outside, unless you have a dealership that's doing it. How long will it be supported? I don't know. I'm sure it will continue to be supported. That's a minor downside. I'm not saying that would not make me get a Rockford Fosgate system. You just have to find a dealer. Mm-hmm. Our closest one in our case is an hour and 15 away in Richland, Washington.
Right.
So that could
be a deal breaker for you. You might,
when I can get a J&M and I don't have to go to my dealership at all.
Right.
Because I have a stock system. So, that's the pluses and minuses. Again, we're not talking against it. Just be aware of it. Check the Rockford Fosgate site. Check Techno Research. I would go to Rockford Fosgate. And again, they have tabs here where you will need to flash your factory radio to use this kit. Here is a list of dealers that can flash your radio, and you just click on it and it will give you that list of dealers, which we pulled up right here on this podcast. With that bombshell, we played the outro for the intro from Pablo Calcerada. We're going to play the intro for the outro because that's how we do here, dude.
Really
I like to just, people guessing, dude. You never know when we're going to do our sponsor stuff. You never know what we're going to say up front. We just, we don't want it to be the same every single time.
We want to keep you on your toes.
We definitely want to keep you on your toe, guys.
Greg, pleasure to meet you, brother, and your lovely wife, and
your dogs.
And the dogs.
Yep.
Happy anniversary. Great to hang out with you and get to know you. Thank you for being part of the biker revolution.
Yep, and we would have loved to have you on this podcast, but like I say, it just is what it is. And that day that we were doing all this, we just couldn't do it based on the circumstances and Lurch having to. It was a last minute thing. Lurch had to get over to Olympia and all that. So I know he understands.
We'll have to follow up with Greg just to see if he had any issues with the system, because you've been rocking your J&M. I've been rocking my Harley. No issues. Followed him, several months down the road and just say, hey, brother, have you had any issues with that thing? So that we can let you folks out there know if he had any concerns or issues with it.
Absolutely. And one of the things I want to say is, when we fired the system up, you can throw a couple codes on your system. We show you how to clear those codes, and we're still following up. It threw a radio code. With the radio worked fine in the system, but it threw a radio code, and I know Greg is following up on that. It's not a big deal because it worked fine, and that just may be because it's an aftermarket system. But again, no big deal. I really care less about it if I was throwing the code. It's just a radio code, and we're not sure. It's kind of an ambiguous code, but it's all is working fine. And that's because we fired up the system without plugging some of the main plugs back in. But codes are easy to clear, and of course, in our tutorial video, we show you if you do throw some codes when you're installing the system, no big deal. We'll clear them out. Again, 14 and newer systems is what the video will be for. And it will be at lawabidingbiker.com/buy videos when it is available, of course. If you're a top-tier patron like Greg is, you get the install video for free, although he doesn't need it. But other patrons may need it. Greg clearly doesn't need it because he was behind the scenes here with us filming that video. So I think we're just going to let it go there, Lurch. I think we're just going to let it go there. Yep. And we're going to finish this out, rock out with your cock out. That's all I had to say.